This morning I had a chance to speak with Speaker Boehner, and I told him what I've been saying publicly, that I am happy to talk with him and other Republicans about anything. Not just issues I think are important, but also issues that they think are important. But I also told him that having such a conversation, talks, negotiations, shouldn't require hanging the threats of a government shutdown or economic chaos over the heads of the American people.
All right, that's the president earlier today at a press conference. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. John Boehner responded a little while ago saying we need to talk. Joining us now is our friend, Texas Congressman Louie Gohmert. Hello, Congressman. How are you, sir?
Well, as far as I know, okay, Steve. But it's amazing. You know, he's been saying for ever since the shutdown and before the shutdown that he's willing to talk, but he will not negotiate on anything. And he's the one that keeps bringing up the threat of the default and that kind of stuff. It's ridiculous to have a president that is trying to inflict as much hurt on the American people as possible, and that's what we got now.
Well, I'm glad you said that, and let me take it further. Let What's to stop this president who admittedly, glad you said that. Let me take it further. What's to stop this president who admittedly, you in the House have passed to help kids with cancer, to help military families get the money. We heard today they're being denied the $100,000 for fallen heroes so they could bury them and take care of their needs.
And actually, there was enough authority in the bill that was passed and signed into law. They can do that. But just like the defense secretary is the one that refused to bring back on 400,000 civilian workers to help the military. There was authority for that in the bill that was passed. He played games with that. I mean, these guys are intentionally doing things.
All right. Well, let me pick up on that and let me take that further. We know what they're doing. We know what Obama's telling them to do, and we see the results. I think this president is fundamentally different than other presidents, and I think
the president's ever done it. You're exactly right.
But I think we're going into this with the president who we know has called the Constitution a flawed document, who has whose mentor was a radical street organizer. Do you believe that this president will let this country face the disaster that it will face if the debt ceiling is not, if we default, quote unquote? Do you believe he will take it that far and inflict the pain to a much greater extent than he's inflicting it now?
Well, I think that's a possibility when you look at what he has done so far. He forced through an Obamacare bill that a majority of Americans did not want. He could see that it was going to cause great pain and suffering to even try to get it implemented. As he explained to a lady in the White House during the White House town hall, maybe we're better off telling your mom instead of a pacemaker, you get a pain pill.
Right.
I mean, this is a president who's willing to say, not only do, but to say publicly he's willing to do these things. And he and Harry Reid, as Harry Reid, you call it a gaffe in Washington. In Washington, as you know, Steve, a gaffe is defined as when you accidentally tell the truth. When Harry Reid said, why would we do that to help one child with cancer? I mean, they're really exposing. They don't mind seeing America suffer. And when you know, as I know you do, that we have enough money coming in every week to pay our debt, to keep from defaulting. Now, we may have to keep some folks furloughed because, as we know, now 94% of the EPA is non-essential. We may have to ask some folks that are non-essential to stay home for a while longer, but there is no reason we should ever default on our debt unless the President and the Treasury Secretary conspire to make us default. But now that we've seen how much money, well, we don't know for sure how much money we're asking. We've got letters, we've got inquiries out, trying to find out how much did you spend to close down open-air monuments and parks and roads that you don't spend a dime of money on. How much did you spend to close things that don't cost you a dime? But we know he is willing to spend money just to inflict hurt. That doesn't even cost us any money to leave open. And so it's hard to say what people like that would be willing to do. And I think it has more to do with Chicago thuggery. It's Al Capone was willing to make people hurt if they didn't go along with the proposals. And it's just amazing to see this kind of thing play out on a national stage by national leaders, including Harry Reid.
I couldn't agree with you more. We're talking to Congressman Louie Gohmert on the Steve Malzberg Show. CNN keeps saying they did a count. The president keeps saying if only a clean resolution, a clean CR was put on the floor of the House and it would pass. And CNN said they did a survey showing that 18 Republicans would join all 200 Democrats in the House, and that would give them one more vote than needed to pass a clean CR. Boehner says that's not going to happen, but there also has to be some kind of official request, and no Republican has come forward and made that official request. So do they have the 18 Republicans?
No, they actually do not have. And let's be clear, Steve, there's no such thing as a clean CR. We know there are vast amounts of waste, fraud, and abuse every year. And so for the president to demand, you give me my big sack of cash, you don't put any requirements on it, as the Constitution says. We're supposed to decide what we fund, what we do not fund. He just wants his big sack of cash, and forget the Constitution. We're moving toward monarchy here, where we want the money, no strings attached. Well, the Constitution attaches strings, but there's plenty of pork, there's plenty of lard. There is no such thing as a clean CR. It will be dirty, nasty, porkified budget or appropriation. And so we have an obligation to try to do what we can to cut some of the waste, fraud, and abuse.
Let me run one more by you. Michelle Bachmann had talked about this, and we had a guest yesterday, an orthodontist down in Florida, who's actually suing through Judicial Watch because you guys don't have standing, apparently, to do it. What about giving him a CR that says all of Obamacare must be enforced as the law is written? He keeps saying it's the law of the land. The left keeps saying it's the law of the land. It was passed by Obama, signed by the Congress, upheld by the Supreme Court. We had 2 elections on it. It's the law of the land. Well, get him in his own game. Take away the delay of the business mandate. Take away the exemptions that he's given.
Exactly,
give him a CR with that attached that the whole law must be implemented as written when it was supposed to be. Would you do that?
Actually, he will not enforce it as it's passed. And the only way we can make that happen is what we're doing right now. We're not giving you a maximum appropriation of everything until you start following the law. And so, he's already proven.
No, I know, but if you make him sign that and the public is focused on that attention, and he says, "Okay, I'll do it," then he's going to have to do it. Let him turn it.
Isn't he? Not any more than he does right now.
Yeah, I know, but
Steve.
that'll focus the public attention on it at least.
It's already the law of the land, but it was not affirmed by the United States. The United States Supreme Court said that as it's written,
Congressman, I know I got to stop you there. I got to stop you there.
It's unconstitutional as a penalty. We'll rewrite it, call it
as a tax, right?
But it's not constitutional the way it's written.
Congressman, we'll speak to you soon. Thank you, my friend.
All right, Steve.
Take care. Up against the hard break. Steve Malzberg, Louie Gohmert on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax.